What's up guys, Lifting here. I just want to go over the character that I played in the 2-week race, which was super fun by the way, the 2-week turmoil race. I got to rank 3 champion and what is it, like 80 something overall. I was very close to getting to rank 2, and then, you know, death happened, and I think the rip, you can check that out, it's in a previous video. I'll link it below if you're interested. But anyway, I've been playing Frostblade champion, and it's important to mention here that champion is not necessarily what you need to do if you want to do this build. You can play it as a Berserker too, for some sick leech and some nice damage. You can play it as a Raider for some insane speed. But I decided to play it as a champion because this was in a hardcore race. I had less people to compete against for the demigod reward, and also because champion is actually overall pretty good for this, because the champion provides, let's open this here, where is it? First of all, permanent fortify, and since this is an evasion character, when you play evasion you really want to have these layers of defense that prevent you from, if the damage goes through, to kill you. And so Fortify helps a ton with that. Having that up permanently makes a big difference. And also it means that you can use a different support gem for your Frostblade setup that will give you more damage in that regard. So Champion is kind of like a good, decent choice if you want a little more defense and you don't want to lag in other departments. It's also going to like give you attack speed, increased armor and evasion, more damage, removes status ailments when you get low. It has actually saved me. I never really liked that, but it actually does work pretty well. It gives you intimidation, more damage, and inspirational. So it's kind of nice to have a champion in a group too, because this is kind of like an aura you're giving to people. So champion, pretty solid choice. But if you want to go absolute fastest, then definitely Raider. And if you just want to troll with insane leech and damage, then Berserker is going to be sick, but then you would want to pick up Volpacts. But yeah, as I said, it is an evasion-based character. I've gotten acrobatics, and then just, you know, a decent amount of evasion in the skill tree. And this takes me to around 54% chance to evade with no flasks, nothing up and running. Oh, let me turn this on real quick so we have an idea. So chance to evade attacks is 54 with the flask it's 69. On top of that, I have 30% chance to dodge attacks from acrobatics, and I have 46 chance to dodge spells, and that's from face acrobatics. Face acrobatics, however, is not picked up in the skill tree. I get that from the perfect form, but I'm gonna talk about that in just a bit. So when I use that with Volgrace, I'm too lazy to run out and show you now, guys. But when I use this with Volgrace, I have a 65% chance to dodge attacks, and I am capped on chance to dodge spells. So it's pretty powerful. And the defenses I've actually been very impressed with the defenses so far. I was afraid it was going to suck because it was evasion, but because of the layers I added to it, it actually feels pretty good. Unfortunately, that volatile just, well, it fucked me up, but yeah, that's how it is. What I did was I decided on the perfect form, and the reason was face acrobatics. We get that for free. We don't have to spend too many points. It gives a nice amount of life, and it also makes it so that the more uncapped cold resistance you have, the more evasion it's going to give. So by stacking cold resistance on top of this, you get a ton of evasion. It's actually very efficient, and it then reduces the cost of Arctic Armor to 0. So you can run Arctic Armor for free with this, and Arctic Armor is one of those layers when using evasion that's nice to have to mitigate damage too. Then on top of that, for more defenses and damage, I'm using the Pandemonious Amulet. It gives some nice damage, some resist, etc. It chills enemies for 1 second when hit. Arctic Armor kind of chills too, so that's cool. But the nice thing here is that you blind chilled enemies on hit. So not only do you have like an inherent very high chance to dodge attacks, you also blind them, further reducing their chance to hit you. And you especially feel this when you go up against a boss, for instance, where you're just one-on-one against someone. They very rarely hit you, and if they hit you, then it will take a long time for them to hit you again. And I've seen this up to, I guess, around tier 14 is the furthest I tried with this character. But yeah, it would be interesting to see how it feels later on. My damage setup is Frostblades, Multi-Strike, Hypothermia, weapon elemental damage, and melee physical damage. Melee physical damage is pretty much just here to help with single target. You don't really have too many issues with projectile damage and clear speed overall. It is the single target that slows you down slightly. So melee fizz makes a very big difference here. And before I used Hypothermia, I was using Cold Pen. But because I have a lot of penetration in the skill tree, including Fangs of Frost, Primeval Force, Forces of Nature, and then 2 Fight for Survival jewels, which each provide 15%. Hypothermia ends up being a more efficient way of scaling your damage. Now, if I were to get a 6th link, you may want to consider adding in Added Cold again, or even something like faster attacks. And other than that, I of course had like a War Chief totem set up. I had cast when damage taken Frostbite and my Lightning Golem for some attack speed, Vol Haste, Vol Grace, increased duration, and Blood Rage set up. Blood Rage to generate frenzy charges and to give me more attack speed basically. And that's like the main things. I use Herald of Ice when I wanted to do stuff, clear maps fast because of the explosions and the shatter. It works really well. But when you're not going up against, or when you're not trying to clear fast, it's better to activate Herald of Ash. So if you have some single target, Herald of Ash is going to deal more damage, and you turn that off and substitute it for the other one. And then of course Hatred, which gives a ton of damage. And with this setup right now, because of Winter Spirit, I am converting 100% of my physical damage into cold, making it very efficient to scale, right? But the conversion from Hatred happens before that, so you get the full effect of the physical damage converted from Hatred. Oh, and it's probably important to mention that one thing that this does that's pretty different than most Frostblades builds is that this is not a crit build. I'm actually picking up Resolute Technique over here. And then I was a little curious about that in the beginning because I was afraid that it wouldn't feel good. Like, one of the nice things about playing with any Frost skill is that it freezes and shatters, right? And so when you can't crit, then you're not gonna get as many freezes and shatters. However, because of Touch of Anguish having 10% chance, and we're wearing 2 of those, plus the 10% chance we get from these down here, and let's see, how many attacks is it per second? I think it's around 7 attacks per second, almost 6.3. Because of so many rapid attacks per second, and 30% chance to freeze, it kind of feels like you're freezing all the time. So it's no issue at all. You still get the freeze effect. You don't have to worry about accuracy. You get a few more skill points to spend on defenses and, well, scaling elemental damage and so forth. So overall, I actually am very surprised at this. Well, not very surprised, but it did good. I liked it. At this point in time in the skill tree, what I would like to pick up, I'm currently level 92 here. I would like to have another Frenzy Charge, get it up here too if that was possible, and then pretty much just get 1 more life node, then I would have 6,000 life, right? That would be nice. It would just look good. Oh, and of course some damage down here. So one of the things that's also important is, of course, besides the chance to freeze on Touch of Anguish, is that skills chain an additional time while at maximum frenzy charges. And chain on Frostblades is incredibly useful. It greatly increases your clear speed. It does nothing for boss kills or anything like that, but it greatly increases your map clear speed. So these are definitely worth it. They were pretty expensive in the 2-week turmoil race because of the supply and demand. But normally these aren't actually too expensive. And I think they will be, unless they change things too much, I think this will be a pretty solid build to start out with in 3.0. If so, I'll make a build guide and have that ready for you guys. But basically, I just wanted to show you guys what this build was all about. I think I got to cover most of it. Unbuffed DPS is 37,000. Oh, that's with auras on, but no charges and nothing like that. And I can't show you right now, but I believe it's around 70,000 tooltip DPS when everything is up and running. It feels good. I like this build. It's actually been one of the funniest builds I've played in a very long time. And we'll see if it's good for 3.0 when that comes out. If so, as I said, I'll make a guide. Anyway, thank you for watching, and bros, do you even?